All right, ready when you are.
Hey everyone, this is another installment of Mike and
Matt.
On Fire.
Nice. And so this is going to be another episode of Smash and Pass. And so if you guys aren't familiar with that, we've already done one episode before that you can check out. I'll put a link down below. But the idea behind Smash and Pass is usually it's a couple of people judging their fellow humans on their sexual attractiveness. Instead, we're going a different direction. We're going to be judging income properties on whether they're favorable investments from our perspectives. And so with that, we're just going to get into it. So again, we're doing another one just based off of Kijiji. So the concept here is we just typed in the word income property and cash flow into Kijiji under the real estate section to see what sort of properties we'd find. And we're just going to dive in and just make our best assumptions based on the information provided by the seller. Again, we haven't actually walked through these properties and we'd always do tons of more due diligence, but.
That's right, and we're trusting, you know, the ad, so
Yeah.
there could be some misinformation there.
Yeah, absolutely. And frequently you'll find that's the case, particularly with Kijiji ads in general, because there's no filter, right? It's just whatever the owner decides to say.
When Matt and I, this is basically what we're doing when we go through and go on
Yeah.
Kijiji, this is like our filter.
Yeah.
So anything we'd be interested in, we go see.
Yeah, exactly. Like, scraping Kijiji is a huge part of finding private deals, particularly at the start when your network's not big. And so speaking of Kijiji scraping, our first one is 133 Brodale Ave.
Brofdale.
Or Brofdale. And so it's 564, so 565,000. And gross profit, current gross profit, I bet that's gross rents. But so anyways, the ad reads, great opportunity, city licensed duplex, located on large lot, footsteps to Western University. Current gross profit is $45,600 a year. 2 4-bedroom units with mini upgrades, including all new windows, all bathrooms updated, hardwood floors, refinished, 1 new kitchen, and all new appliances within past 5 years. Do not wait, this turnkey investment will not last. Call today to book your private showing.
So
like
Brofdale's right off Richmond there, right?
Okay,
So,
yeah.
So like you can pretty much walk to Canada. Like it's definitely a walk. Pretty easy to rent out.
Yeah,
Great
for
location for Western students.
And so, you know, looks pretty clean.
Hardwoods, kitchen's kind of okay. Large
So-
bedrooms, looks like.
I just kind of want to quickly run the numbers here. So they're saying 45,600 divided by 12, so we're doing that.
They're saying 2 4-bedroom units, so
Yeah.
8 bedrooms.
Yeah, so I just
close
want
to
to
Richmond Gates there.
But so that's gross rents. That's not gross profits. Unless they're
not
renting
close to
out.
university, they should get 550.
So you think that's?
It's possible,
I doubt it.
depending how big the rooms are.
Are they doing 550 plus hydro?
I don't know.
Because like that's the only way. Because like right now that works out to 475.
And like it's
bedroom.
possible they just rented it out cheaply too.
Yeah.
So we don't know if maybe they're under rented.
Yeah, it's a personal pet peeve when people misuse gross profit and gross margin.
Yeah,
and
big time. People
gross
do that all
sales,
the time.
like-
They think, oh, it's you know, the net operating income, and it's like they've taken off like hydro, and it's like
Yeah. So yeah, it's just a pet peeve of mine. Anything else you need to look into this one before we make a judgment?
I mean, if we're doing the numbers quickly, right? You got 8 bedrooms at, just recapping for the audience here, right?
Sure.
2 4-bedroom units. So it
Well,
sounds
you're
like
saying you think you could do 5 what?
you probably do 500 a bedroom safe. Like if you're doing the
Fine.
calculation, I'd rely on
Yeah.
500. If you get more, it's a bonus.
So we're talking 4,000 gross.
So 1% will put it at 400,000. In this area, though, you won't get 1% roll. Like in the proximity of the gates, you just
Yeah.
won't.
So do we want to do this and then we'll talk further about our logic?
Yeah. Okay.
All right, you ready? And reveal. So pass.
I did a pass as well, and for me, like this isn't. I actually love like duplexes are my bread and butter. I prefer it
Yeah.
more than any other multiplex. I like the duplexes because they're small, they're easy to finance. You know, they're easy to insure. The insurance is really cheap on them. They're easy to rent out too. I don't like any. Personally, I just don't like any. If it was like a 5-bedroom and a 3-bedroom unit, that's a huge turn off. I like 4 and 4, or like 3 and 3 and 3 is nice
yeah.
too. I just find it easier to rent. It's hard to find a group of 5. It's pretty easy to find a group of 3 or 4.
Yeah.
So
I guess
from a
that's
rental
probably
value
different from the Western perspective because Fanshaw's all groups of 5s almost all day long.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You can have the same thing at Western. You can find like.
But I think Western does have way more variety of types, right? Like anything from people used to renting single, you know, bachelors to 6-bedroom houses. I think
Definitely.
yeah, Western definitely runs the gamut.
I've seen properties in this area go 1% rule, but they need work.
Yeah.
And when those come up, like there's been times where I've seen on MLS property like this come up. If he had listed that, like 400 to get multiple offers,
Yeah.
I probably would have went in with a smash.
Yeah.
Or like even 450, I'd probably go with a smash because I know the value. Even if it's less than
And for
1%.
that exact geographic location. Yeah.
Because it's just so close to Western, it would rent like easy $500 a bedroom. Assuming I haven't seen the house, so qualifying that like the house is decent, the bedrooms are good.
It looks like decent. Although I'm guessing that's probably their biggest bedroom, and that's why they're showcasing it. So its bedrooms
possible.
might not be huge. Because like, I don't know, it doesn't look massive from the outside. But again, like if I was really digging into this place, I'd pull it up on the zoning maps and really get a feel for what the actual layout is, pull the permits and that sort of thing.
That's right. It's licensed, right? We're trusting that it's a licensed duplex, so I assume it's had all the inspections and things. But a 4-bedroom apartment there should rent, you should be able to get at least like $2,000 per apartment for 4 bedrooms in each one.
Yeah.
Maybe it has an addition on the back because that house looks really small for 8 bedrooms.
Yeah, it must.
But yeah, like, this is a really sexy property. I've always had, and I still have never like satiated that hunger to own. Like when I went to Western, I always wanted to have that property at Richmond Gates, but I could never afford it.
Yeah.
And it was like I do on the cheap side, like near Blackfriars area when I bought my property when I was in second year. And so for me, this is I have a bit of emotional like bias in that like I would love to own a Richmond Gates property. It would just be if something came up even at the 1% rule, I would just jump on it like a viper just to have that like in my portfolio. But yeah, so this one was a pass for me because the numbers just don't work on it. It looks like it needs a little bit of work from the front. It looks a little like doesn't look super turnkey.
Just dated.
Just a bit dated, yeah. And like the kitchen even looked a bit rough to me, like
just basic
linoleum kind of. If this property so this property was in like Blackfriars, I'd like cool, but for the area, it's very like the finishes are very poor for the area. Yeah. When you're buying like a $560,000 house, you expect a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
Nicer finishes, but.
All right, let's jump on. Pass. The numbers don't work at all. So like again, if we're talking 450, I agree. It starts to be interesting. Realistically though, it would still just be interesting to me from an intellectual standpoint. Like I still wouldn't even want to own it at 400,000 personally. Just like honestly now, like student rentals have to be so good for me to want to get into them, and that's student rentals is how I cut my teeth. That's how I got to where I'm at. So definitely not putting down student rentals. It's in a different market for me. So like to have to learn the Western students when I know Fanshawe and I feel like I know them fairly well. I'd rather either just end up with Fanshawe or downtown students. And so downtown students are a little bit different again because often you're mixing and blending them with young professionals. So it's not like you have to be quite as keyed in to what Western students expect.
Very true. Yeah, the students. Another thing, like people out there watching, if you're comparing a multifamily property to a student property, it's like when you're comparing 2 different areas. Different apples. So absolutely. Like a 1% rural family property is entirely different than a 1% student property. Yeah. And typically, I don't know about you, but I expect a premium on my student rentals. So like I'd look for like 1.25%, because I know student rentals are more of a pain. For sure. So I have to factor in like a little bit more damages, more turnover. So you want to people expect a little bit higher. Yeah. And
recently, I don't know if I'm just having bad luck, but in recent years, like number of helicopter parents, like the parents that are just so demanding and just oversee every aspect of their children's lives it's just frustrating. Yeah. But anyways, let's jump on to the next one. So now we got something on Emery Street, 165,000. So it's a double wide lot for sale by original owner. This property offers 3 bedrooms and 1 bathroom on the main floor, complete with living, dining room, and kitchen with 1-year young fridge. No. I don't understand why people give a fuck about appliances, but that's just me.
Houses didn't even used to sell with appliances like 20 years ago. People just like took their appliances with them.
Appliances are so cheap on Kijiji, but anyway.
Appraisers don't even factor in appliances.
No. And the basement ceiling height allows for finished space and is ready for your touches. This brick bungalow also has a detached single-car garage, and the double lot size offers lots of land for your imagination. The home does not require TLC, but has new wiring, plumbing, window wells, but consider a handyman special or could be great as an income property as well. This home is close to bus stop. Okay, so this wasn't really a purpose income property per se. That's some bright carpets.
This is some nice blue ocean carpets right there. There's apparently hardwoods underneath, it says, but
Yeah, I believe it.
That's what it says in the ad.
Yeah.
Condition unknown.
Like that looks savable. Like those look like amazing hardwood floors to me, actually.
Probably exists under the.
Really basic garage. All right, well this one's a little disappointing. It's not even too much of an income property in my opinion, but so Emery, it's going to be west of Warncliffe, yeah.
So south of. Oh, it's pretty south. Okay.
So yeah. So like actually just recently, me and Jeff Weibel on our most recent MLS Monday meetup video, which will be coming out tomorrow, but which actually is coming out after this video, we've been talking about this area. I think there's potential in this area in general, but that's just my opinion.
Interesting.
But yeah, anyways, let's talk about our pass or smash, don't pull out options. And yeah, let's do it. So pass.
Yeah, me too.
And so the reason that I'm passing on this one, first of all, it's kind of a lame income property. They're more just, and I guess this is a pet peeve I have of realtors in general. Almost any property that's like under $500,000, they seem to think could double as an income property. I'm not sure why that they throw those in the listings. Like, what person's going to stumble upon and think that this works as an income property? Because realistically, it sounds like this can only be a single family home. And if it can, like, you're going to need to do a lot of cosmetic upgrades just based on all this dated stuff in order to get it ready for a single family. And I'm looking at it, let's say 164, let's say I could buy it for 160. So I buy it for 160. I think I'm still at least 10 grand in cosmetics just to make it look more relevant to today's home renters. And then my end goal, like, when am I renting this out for? Sure, it's got a little garage, but like that's the most basic garage you can get.
It's in rough condition too. Like.
So like I'm thinking maybe absolute best case scenario, I can rent this out 1,500, all utilities in. And so, you know, I'm going to be under the 1% rule, and just I don't see a lot of upside from my perspective. So
agreed. Best case, best case. I was thinking like 1,200 plus utilities or something.
Yeah,
like that, right?
Which I think ends up around 1,500.
Yeah, you're right.
Inclusive.
Good point. Yeah, so like that's where I'm in the same place as you. For something that needs a lot of work. If this was like she changed the listing to like 99,000. It's like, oh wow, now it's a handyman special. Now it's you adjust the price, but for the price of this, I mean, it's really dated inside.
And so I think that's something that's really interesting to me too. Often the difference between a place that needs a fair bit of work and a place that needs a fair bit of cosmetic work, the actual dollar cost isn't a lot, but usually you can buy the property that needs a fair bit of work a lot cheaper than the place that just needs cosmetics. Because like, I don't know how they figure out that pricing scheme, but like they're like, oh, everything's almost good enough, so I should be able to charge more. But you're like, no, but you're still not good enough. So like the cost to get it up to good enough can frequently be similar on properties that look very different from like first glance.
And Matt and I both know that, so my strategy and probably your strategy too has been to buy properties that are in a bit of distress.
Yeah.
Because we know that we can get the renovation done much cheaper than the market's valuing.
Yeah, exactly.
They're devaluing all of those fixes that need to be done. So often I will look for properties in similar condition to this, but the numbers just have to work, and there has to be. So in this case, I think if you were to spend the time and all the stress and the effort, you should be not only like getting back your money on the renovation, but also a bit of equity, sweat equity for your time and your effort and your stress. And I don't think there's margin at this price to do that.
I think in that area, based on just what I know in general, like I'm thinking you top out at 2.25 max, and that's for some really nice finishes. And and those nice finishes are going to add up because the place needs all new nice finishes if you're going that route.
Yeah, and the by the bedroom thing, like it's too far from the university.
Yeah.
If it was like near the university, maybe you could add 3 more bedrooms in the basement and they could have a play here.
Yeah.
But there's just no play. Like it's a family rental in the area. Another point I want to make, just like I just thought of it. I talked to a lot of people, when I used to work in the corporate world, that had income properties.
Yeah.
And they considered like these income properties.
Yeah.
I knew people who had them, and he's like, yeah, man. He's like, I'm gonna lose $100 a month. Like my cash flow's negative 100, but he's like, the mortgage pay down,
it's
totally amazing. And I don't know if maybe just half the properties out there are just bad. Like a lot of these kind of properties that people consider income properties.
Well, I think the problem is that like I said earlier, there's a lot of realtors that are very fast and loose with the term income property and what cash flow actually is. And so I think that's the problem, is that someone starts off by thinking they want to be an income property investor, and then they go to their realtor that sold them their McMansion and say, I want to buy income properties. And the realtor that sold you the McMansion's probably just no single family home. So he's like, okay, income property, I'll take you somewhere low end. But then you go and buy a single family home still. And I think that's where a lot of the problems are too.
People just don't buy for cash flow is the thing.
Yeah.
Just don't understand. Like, I've talked to so many realtors. I've been to a lot of open houses just because I know a lot of realtors in the city, and
Yeah.
a lot of them, I'll be honest, not to throw them under the bus, but I've brought up things like cap rate. And I just watch them. They're like, their eyes are like, cap rate? I've never heard that word before. How can you be a realtor and not know what a cap rate is? How can you talk about income properties and I call this agent and they have no idea what a cap rate is? Or like, I ask them some of the numbers and they don't understand like what net income would be, or like they don't anything. They just don't understand. I'm like, you can't create an income statement and you're trying to sell this as an income property. What? Like,
and like, especially when like people are pitching things as income properties, and then it's like, okay, like give me the numbers, and they're like, oh, like I don't have anything put together, and you're like, how do you have nothing put together?
That's like, why would you even put that in the
Right?
listing if you had not? So that's a big pet peeve of mine. It really bugs me and irks me when people say, oh, income property, and you call them, they're like, I have no idea what an income statement is or a cap rate, and I don't have any of the numbers on the property, but okay.
All right, let's jump to the next one. So this one's got a little bit of a different flair to it.
I got a history on this one.
So, dude, because I actually do too a little. Okay. So interesting. But so here we got a commercial residential property with business. So 507 Pall Mall, they're asking $430 for it, and it's a opportunity to buy a well-running business with over 10% return. Building business included investors/entrepreneurs. Great opportunity to be your own boss. And make great income. Fully renovated and updated property. More than $150,000 spent on renovations and upgrades. Well-established laundromat in the historic Woodfield district. Newer furnace, newer electrical wiring and gas fittings. 24-hour video security close to downtown City Hall. Surrounded by apartment buildings and rental units. One bedroom, brand new apartment upstairs would bring in $1,000 a month. And laundromat is making $36,000 net income. Net income approx. $46,000
What they've done is
everything.
they've thrown in the extra apartment as net income.
Sorry, and then part of my head was like, how did they determine that the business gets a 10% return? But that's all. But so I guess they're saying that
they're just taking the net. They've the problem I had with this deal. Okay, we'll talk about that.
Let's first figure out this, and then this is interesting. I'm just gonna
go with the ad because I'm gonna pretend that I don't know what I know.
Okay, yeah. All right, ready?
Yeah. So I did a smash.
I did a smash too.
Buy and hold.
I did a hold as well.
Yeah. Okay, I'm curious to hear what you
so
know
like
about this property.
theoretically, I was thinking more back to there was a time when I wish I would have bought this, and so I'm going to say like 3-4 years ago it was for sale
for a long time,
and like it was for sale like for at least 100,000 less, but I feel like it was actually more like they were asking like high 200s, like it might have been 299. And so I remember looking at it and was like, oh, this is interesting. Like, I thought one of the ways I looked at it was, what if I went in, bought it, tried to piecemeal all the laundry stuff, sold it all, and then turned it just into a double residential. And so that's kind of the angle. I was like, I wonder how much like money I could recoup from selling these used laundromat equipment, particularly because I know a lot of landlord investors that might be interested in like heavy duty industrial laundromat equipment. But so in this specific reason, the reason I said I would still smash, if it was actually getting net income of 46,000 on it, that's great. I don't believe that it actually is personally, but that's just my gut telling me that it seems too good to be true for the location. But yeah, jump into it.
I also saw it go for sale when you were talking 3 or 4 years ago, and I looked at it then. And then I saw someone, I believe it sold.
Did it? Okay, I never looked into
the upper apartment's been renovated like top to bottom.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was, I can't remember if it was renovated back then or not.
Yeah.
But it has been renovated now quite nicely. It's got a good amount of parking on the lot. It's a good sized lot in a pretty good location downtown. They actually tried, and then, so a couple of years ago, they tried just selling the laundromat. And I actually went in to try to buy a laundromat from them, and they were going to sell the building separately to someone.
Gotcha.
And I would be like renting the space and buying the business. So all of the assets they valued at $128,000 was something in that ballpark. Was what they valued the equipment at. And so I went in a couple of times, as any astute investor does. I snuck in at different times and I checked out the laundromat to see the kind of business they were getting. see the kind of, I work nearby, so I'd walk there on my lunch and I'd check it out.
Oh, right.
And
Yeah,
it was
makes
already
sense.
vacant.
Yeah.
And so I'd go by and I would check it out, and they have a guy who sits there all the time in the back, kind
Really?
of watching things.
Oh,
And I
wow.
think he was like the son of the owner or something.
Oh,
So I don't know
okay.
how that'd be sustainable to pay someone to watch things.
Yeah, I can't imagine it.
But they claimed that it was necessary to not have any, issues with the machines. It looks like a couple newer machines than when I was
Yeah.
there last, but those ones are older. It's actually like been renovated really nicely inside, and like all the hookups are really clean. There was no like it just looked
Just tidy,
It was
yeah.
really tidy and clean, like a good little operation they had going. The problem is there's so many laundromats in the vicinity that I think there's a lot of competition, and I don't think that they're getting the kind of returns they should. The machines weren't being used.
Yeah. Well, and I think that that's honestly a risk with laundromats, in my opinion, in general, is that more and more often I think that tenants, if not demanding laundry on site, want it in unit,
Yeah.
And so,
That's a trend going forward. I think people are putting laundry in.
and I think just like it's something that I've talked about relentlessly on my YouTube channel, and it's because I believe you get better quality tenants, and the cost just isn't significant enough to scare you away from putting laundry in.
All of my units have either shared or in unit.
Yeah, and other than some of my most basic units, my bachelor units, yeah, everything tried to have laundry in as well.
The tenant that frequents the laundromat too, if you have to understand, there's a certain like income bracket that you're targeting.
More
as well.
likely, yeah.
Yeah, and so a certain living situation. So, so I didn't end up buying the business, but
Yeah.
I at least investigated.
Although now that I'm just talking out loud, it'd be interesting to see what the exact zoning is on this. Because like, if you
Trying
could
to
turn
remember.
this into like more like a coffee place or bar or like a neighborhood pub, like that actually would be kind of neat. Not at that price, but like if you could actually sell those assets for say 130,000. So like, let's say we could actually buy this for 430, sell the laundromat stuff for like 130, which this is probably pie in the sky, but just run with it.
Okay.
And so now you're 300,000 for the building, and then you have a brand new apartment that sounds like it can rent for 1,000. That all of a sudden means like you could maybe look into doing something cute on the main floor, right? If the zoning allowed it. I haven't looked into it at all, but just
I actually
thought.
like when I looked at it, the rent I figured for the main floor before they were charging the laundromat before the owner bought both.
Yeah.
I think it was like $1,200 or something they were charging them.
Oh, okay.
For rent, so they're getting $2,200 a month.
Yeah.
And at that price, they're looking at like 0.5% rule, so way
Yeah.
off the 1% rule. So I asked them to like sell the building to someone else.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'll just buy the machinery, the assets, and give me a lease on 10 years. And I was
Yeah.
hoping to get it for about 70,000 for the equipment, which was like
Gotcha.
around 2 times the net operating.
Yeah.
Which I thought, hey, if I get my money back in 2 years and I have all this equipment, this cash flowing thing on a lease, that was where I thought the play was at the time. But again, a number of reasons I stayed away from it.
Yeah. And so, what are your thoughts in general? Like, would you be interested in buying a laundromat today if the numbers worked?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Interesting.
Yeah. If the numbers worked, I've looked at like 6 or 7 here in
Yeah.
London at different times, and the issue is always that there's always something that stops me.
Well, so I think one of the biggest problems with when you're looking at laundromats or vending machines is the guy says, here's my, often you'll ask to see like their tax return, right? But then you'll be like, nudge, nudge, that's not actually what I get.
I had someone physically show me how they might unload a machine, and there's like a few buckets, and one of them happens to be like a bucket just for them. Yeah.
One for me, one for them.
Yeah,
Like, me.
exactly. So that a lot of that.
So like,
kind of
how
stuff
do you
goes on.
really figure that out? Like, how do you get comfortable with the nudge, nudge number?
So it's one of
Or
those
do you-
things where if I were to buy it, I'd put a conditional offer on the business, right?
Yeah.
With the due diligence period. And I would go there. I would say, you need to meet me there twice a week. And I would
Oh,
go there
okay,
every week and watch
interesting.
him unload the machines, and we'll count it together.
Yeah.
And it shows me the one for him and one for the. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because that's typical in that industry to have those kind of like two
Yeah.
sets of books kind of thing.
Well, yeah, and like people will literally almost advertise it on their kijiji ad sometimes.
Yeah, you gotta be
which
a little
seems
careful.
aggressive, but yeah, it's very interesting. It's just something, since we're on the topic, I thought would be fun to dive into.
Yeah, I definitely am interested in, like, even in vending machines. I'm still working on the line
Yeah.
to do that here in London. I've not really actively pursued that, but it's something that if I had a partner on the vending machine business, for instance,
Yeah.
and I put I was looking at buying a route here of 100 machines, and it was bringing in say $7,000 a month,
Yeah.
of like net profit. If I had a partner, I would partner with them half, have them do the machines once a week, fill them up and take the coins, and
Yeah.
I'd put all the money out, front it basically, and then have someone who wanted to run the operations and take half that, $3,000 a month for
Yeah.
nothing. No way.
Interesting.
Yeah. So if I can find a partner out there that someone wants to actually, make a little side hustle a day a week.
Because you'd have to really trust that person too in an all cash business. That's the other concern. That's why a lot of guys end up running their own routes and stuff. It's just, it's so difficult because how do you know, right? And
that's
that,
the
like,
biggest risk factor. You're right.
yeah.
Even like one guy I was talking to at the laundromat, that one of the laundromats looked at, like his brother or something was the one doing the work, and his brother was scamming him, like taking a bucket for himself. And just there's just literally no way to know, to my knowledge, unless you have really high-end machines that like actually like are hooked up to some sort of data center that's counting. Actually, I found out like even the machines and how he caught his brother was taking the money was actually those counters in the machines.
Oh,
all
like even
like have counters, how many coins have gone in. And there's sometimes mistakes where you put in a quarter and it doesn't register.
Yeah.
But like it's within like 90%.
You'd get like enough. Yeah, and 90% I'd say is more than accuracy enough.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And he's like, wow, there's a lot missing here. And then found out, went and took a film footage and found him, taking an extra bucket. So yeah, it's interesting that laundromats in general, businesses in general, I love cash flow. Real estate just happened to be an avenue.
Easy, understandable way to approach cash flow for sure.
So yeah, this building's an interesting one. It has been updated like top to bottom. I don't like at this price. I did smash it because based on the ad, it looked pretty good. One thing I think that people often get confused, and I see this often, it's a mistake, is that they're advertising the business with the real estate. And so really, what we need to do is this $46,000 includes $36,000 of a laundromat business. Mm-hmm. And so in real estate, for instance, I expect basically 10 times like a 1% rate of return, right? When I'm buying a business with assets, I'm expecting a 2-year payback. So entirely different numbers. So what you should do is separate the two and say, I'm expecting a 2-year payback on these assets, and I'm buying it with the whole deal together, but separate the deal out when you're analyzing it and say, okay, I'm looking at, a 2-year payback on the laundromat net income. So that $36,000 to me is worth, say, maybe $70,000 of value, right? And look at the assets too, and obviously it ends up working around $70,000 value is what I found. And then say, okay, what's the building now worth? Yeah. So take that $70,000 off that, you're at what, like $350 or whatever. Yeah. And say now, is the building at 1% rule? What could that main floor laundromat rent for if it was a pub, or even play the scenarios? Maybe it's $1,500 and $1,000 up top. Get $2,500. It still isn't 1% rule. So for me, when I separate the two out, I asked them, can I just buy the laundromat? Yeah. And they're like, we're interested in talking. And so that was something that if you actually did like the numbers on it, it isn't 1% rule. At the end of the day.
And one other thing about these like mixed use buildings, particularly when you're your own tenant, like there's certain ways that you can either like lie to yourself or not, right? Because it's like, oh, well, what if I paid more rent, right? Or what if I paid less rent? And there's certain advantages and disadvantages and tax implications of doing all that. But something I frequently will see happen too is a building that's maybe been a mixed use building in particular, it seems to be the case, where the commercial's been vacant for a while. Right before the owner decides to sell, they'll start up a business in one of the units or in all the units, start up businesses, try to sell the businesses and the property at the same time. And like, they're essentially gaming it where like, they're really just taking money out of one pocket into the other. And like, these businesses don't cash flow, but it looks good today because the owner's able to manipulate the situation. So that's just one other thing I really want to caution people when they're looking at these mixed-use buildings. But so anyways, we kind of rambled on longer than expected about the laundromat, so I think we'll maybe wrap up this video. Yeah. We're going to be doing tons of Smash and Pash videos though, so if you enjoy it, definitely smash that like button for me. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already, subscribe. Also, down in the video description below, I'll put a link to Michael's Facebook, and every day he's doing a video live journal.
Daily video journal. I do one every single day, and sometimes they're bad, sometimes they're not. Yeah, so my daily video journal is just me documenting my experiences as a real estate investor, as someone who's working towards activating my financial independence. I am financially independent, so I could never work again and just live off my passive cash flow. But I'm a big proponent of like growth. Yeah. So growth feels good, even if it's not financial growth. Sometimes it's personal growth.
Yeah, it's actually been really fun. Like on your channel, you've talked about all sorts of different kind of life balance, work balance stuff, and often like to get to financial independence, you're probably going to be an overachiever to begin with. So it's easy to really get sucked into like maybe doing too much of that and forgetting about the balance, and you end up exactly where you were when you had a 9 to 5.
Yeah, definitely. As soon as September comes, I'm hoping things are gonna calm down when I get caught up on the renovations. But yeah, I'm a perfect example of an entrepreneur who quits his job and ends up working 100 hours instead of 50.
And that wasn't the goal.
That wasn't the goal, no. And so I don't need to necessarily financially grow, good question for you, Matt. What do you think around, do you think it's necessary to keep growing financially after you've hit?
I definitely don't think it's necessary. I definitely, for my personality, for whatever reason, I enjoy it. Like, it definitely, whether it satisfies part of my ego or my personal identity, or maybe it's just I like to have resiliency or whatever, but I definitely now, there's times that I see deals that I purposely reach out to someone, or I just pass on it because I'm like, I can make money here, but I don't have to make money, and it's like, this is going to be a bit of a grind, or I'm going to be dealing with really undesirable tenants, like, for whatever reason. So yeah, I think for me, it's recently I've been trying to become more present, more just really think through, does this slot into my long-term plan versus a quick, easy money.
Very good. Yeah. So you're very strategic and very choosy.
I'm trying. But yeah.
Myself as well. So if you guys want to check out my daily video journal,
link down below.
Will be linked to my Facebook page. It's my personal Facebook page. So send me a message if you want to chat. And I just share what I do every day. I've been renovating and building wealth, and it's all about, like Matt said, the balance, and about the personal growth as well. So personal growth can be in different areas. Maybe I'll grow, emotionally or physically. Maybe I'll start working out on my channel. And
Well, I honestly think there's so much value in just documenting your journey, no matter what it is, right? Because it just makes you so much more self-aware, and like you realize your own inconsistencies, or where you are consistent in certain areas when maybe, you've always thought of yourself as this person. But then, like, once you actually start documenting, you're like, oh, I don't do any of the things that person would actually do. Like, it turns out I'm this person, or I want to be that person,
Exactly.
I think that self-awareness is really important. But anyways, we'll wrap up this video, and we'll have lots more smash and passes coming up. And thanks for taking the time to watch, guys. I really appreciate it. Anything you want to say before we jump off, or just?
No, I wanted to give you a little pat on the ego and just say, like, your channel has been awesome too. I've been watching a lot of your videos. The thing I like about watching these videos, and especially if I was just starting out, is that wisdom is just basically you can acquire wisdom through many different facets. You can experience things and they become wisdom, or you can learn through other people's experiences, and that can become wisdom for you. So you've been able to impart a little bit of wisdom on me, and I'm hoping my channel does the same thing for people. And
without doubt. No sense reinventing the wheel. And there's more than enough money out there for us to all make it. So let's just go make some money, guys. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.